at us. Here we are. We made it. We're here. We came from a lot of different places. We left a lot of
We planted a seed that has grown 190 moons later
190
to us
moons.
being up here in Wappinger, such an amazing property with the chapel, well, in its current state in Entheon, is well underway. We hope, of course, to get it open this year. But it's been a real miraculous unfolding. And the full moons have had a tremendous amount to do with it.
Well, they let us look at our life in these segments. You know, we make New Year's resolutions, but, you know, do we keep them? But every month, you see how far you've come. You know, like, what were my intentions last month, and how far off the mark am I? You know, if not sailing ahead, perhaps. But anyway, and then you look back and you think of all you've accomplished. So it's this way of breaking up the year and tying yourself to the great flow. And here we have the Hudson River, the great flow that goes both ways. It's the tidal river.
It's a moon river.
Moon river, wider than a mile.
Yes.
That is the Moon River in the song. And it's a tidal river. And
it is.
And it's got an energy to it because it flows up to Poughkeepsie and then back past us, right past us, every 6 hours, like clockwork.
We're right
because of the moon.
A spiritual vortex, because the ocean comes all the way up to Poughkeepsie and then kind of like changes its mind and comes back down. Every 6 hours it does this. So it's in a rotation. We're in the vortex spun by the waters, but the Wappinger Creek comes right down. Some of you came to the train station and crossed over a bridge. That's Wappinger Creek coming into the Hudson. And where two flows come together like that, that is a kind of dragon point energy. So there is a Tibetan Buddhist monastery that has incredible stupa and sculptures and things like that. And There is the Christian monastery.
Franciscan monastery. So it's a pearl necklace of spirituality up and down the Hudson. But here is a special node.
Like in a couple miles away.
Oh, but how about the LSD Chapel?
Oh. It was built in 1850. Okay, and and you can see it. It's right near Bowdoin Park, and right in the front, you can see it. It's
you go out our driveway, you turn
LSD
left, you pass
Chapel.
these things, all
It
these
says.
spiritual places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ELLESSDEE. LSD Chapel. And they made it that way. It was 3 families that were evidently pretty wealthy, and they just didn't want to bother riding their horse and buggies all the way into church. So they decided that they would combine their initials. One family was L,
No,
one was
it was
S,
the wives.
and one was D.
I keep telling you.
Okay.
It was the name of the men's wives. They named it after their wives. It was like Ellen, Leslie, and Dolores or something. I don't remember
I
what they were,
prefer
but I
that.
looked it up.
That's good.
But in any case, that's how they got that name, because the people who actually founded it. But there were a lot of, like wealthy people that came up here for the whole summer, and they had to go to church. This house was owned by somebody like that. So I'm so glad that it's now being so used so communally, and that you guys all came here. And how many people have never been to a full moon ceremony before? Well, welcome. How many people have been to a full moon ceremony and brought somebody who hadn't ever been? Ooh, you guys. Star. Anyway, we're really glad as we are growing and we're filling this room, and there are people in the remote room. Hi, people in the remote room. Everybody turn around and say hi to the people in the remote room. See? I told you we were going to say hi. Well, anyway, we have a series of performances coming up, and we're going to let that happen. But first, I wanted to ask you, but why the full moon, Alex? What is the symbol of the full moon? Why the full moon?
Well, I think that what it is the full moon is a sacred mirror, really. It's a perfect circle, and that is a supreme symbol of spirit, because it's the sacred geometric shape of oneness and of wholeness. And I think we automatically can identify with this perfect circle in the sky, luminous disk, and it feels like our separate self, our soul, somehow, is mirrored in this great cosmic body. It's a cosmic body that we can stare at. We can't really stare at the sun, It's hard to do that. Shouldn't do that. Yeah. But you can see the sun reflected in the moon's face. Now, metaphorically, you just have to say, how perfect for us, that, because we, being sacred mirrors, are a reflection also of a greater light. And this is the season where we start to mingle the identities of these lights. The inner light, the kingdom of heaven that's within, as we've been told by wise people, like Jesus. And the light in the heavens that I didn't realize that every atom ever created was forged in stars. Supernovas had to come together to form the denser elements. those explosions tumbling out into vast space would coagulate in swamps of nebula that were just filled with elements, which eventually could coagulate. You know, we got 13.7 billion years to do this. But imagine the miraculousness of completely dispersed elements, actually of no thingness, prior to us gibbering about it. But if this is so, it's an even greater miracle than any religion ever proposed, that we are made of stardust, literally, and look at what happened. How could God do such a thing? How? Why? It's utterly unbelievable that we could even be here, isn't it? It's a miracle. Every day is actually a miracle. If we woke up, like, from where the hell did we go for 7 hours or so? But are we thinking like, what the hell? You know, no. Oh, darn. Oh, let me look at my phone. What? No. You know, you wake up and you get this kiss of life in your woke breath. And if we could appreciate the magnitude of effort, of creative God evolution that has gone into minting this moment, you know, then I feel like, it's all a gift. It's all such a precious gift every day, you know. That's appreciating the aesthetic offering, the art of the Creator that's all around us. It's why we're an art church, basically. You know, all of the sacred paths had ways of expressing themselves, or else we wouldn't know about them. They may have disagreed mightily, but they all used the arts to express themselves. So, what if creative expression itself, the creative spirit, integrative perspective of the creative spirit being our anchor, we're less inclined to dogma, because creative people can't stand dogma. And if you allow all of the religions in to your religion, then, you know, it's just, they just got to work it out. You know, it's just one planet. So that's the perspective we're coming from, the unifying element of love and the creative spirit. And I have a feeling that's something practically everybody in here can relate to. And we're so grateful that you came into this orbit for this evening to share this kind of shine, because as I was saying, we're getting in touch with that time where we're mingling the identity of our Son, and because it's, you know, the Son is now more than half the day. This is the time of the triumph of the Son, all the way to the summer solstice, which is the peak. So we kind of hitch our psycho-spiritual wagon, as it were, to the sun. And by doing that, we join the plants in developing new growth within our soul. And this is why mythologically, this is all the great traditions used to celebrate this agricultural rebirth of nature. Persephone comes bouncing out in the springtime, you know. It's the divine feminine as the green. So as we start to see the crocuses bloom and we start to see the little buds, just, if you can, mingle your light with the light of the sun and appreciate that eternal return of nature that we get the privilege to experience. We're so grateful you're here tonight.
I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you, how many people have never been to our church at COSM? A lot of you have never been to our church, and it's a completely different format than this, and it happens on a Sunday afternoon. So if you ever wanted to enjoy, the woods and the art here and whatever on a Sunday afternoon, it's the Sunday afternoon after the full moon. We don't do it every week yet. I hope we will one day. But right now we just do it once a month. And it's tomorrow afternoon, so it's 1 to 5 on the Sunday after. And I see a lot of people here that I see at our church regularly. And it's an intimate gathering. It's a much different format, so I just wanted to tell you that it's an art making opportunity. We all do lap art. We have some supplies here, but it's great to bring your own supplies, like just a sketchbook and some colors. And we have a meditation with music, and we make art, and then we talk about it, and then we have a theme. So tomorrow's theme is Cosmic Christ, because it's Easter. And a lot of you will be with your families on Easter, and we, of course, encourage that and love that and send our love with you. But if you want to celebrate Easter Sunday with this Interfaith Church, we're going to be talking about Cosmic Christ, but we're also going to talk about liberation, because last night was the first night of Passover. So tonight is actually the second night. It's an 8-day holiday. So anyway, we are going to have our next performers. Let's see. Who is coming first? Oh my goodness. Well, we have a setup. Hillary, Astrid, and friends are going to do kirtan. So you guys are going to come out now. And you have some equipment. So while we're waiting for them to do their thing, let me ask you some questions. Let's see. So who came here from very far away? Just shout out where you came from if you feel that you've come. What?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Well, there you go. Now that's a big winner. Come forward. Anyone else come from far away? Texas is far away. Thanks for being here. And who else? Rochester. Now that's a drive. Talking about it, really.
DC.
Where's that?
DC.
DC, we were just in DC. Pittsburgh. I gotta tell you about what's going on in DC though. Well, we got a minute. Just 1 second. Where'd you say?
DC.
DC, oh, there you are. There you are, baby. Well, at the Renwick Gallery. It's a Smithsonian museum. It's like take a mansion that's like 20 times the size of this place, okay? So it's like this huge mansion that somebody gave to the Smithsonian, and it's a gallery, Renwick Gallery. And they're having a Burning Man show there, of art of Burning Man. I just wanted everybody to know that. So if you're going through Washington, D.C., it's gonna be up for a while, and it's an incredible show. The art of Burning Man, yeah, big, monolithic sculptures. Look what we have. We're ready. We're almost ready. Not ready. Okay, so tell me some more things. Let's see now. Who came from next door? Any neighbors? Neighbors. Yeah? Who else? Anybody? Anybody's a neighbor? Say that? Connecticut, that is a neighbor, yes. Well, it's so lovely to have you, and we have here, I know everybody here. We have Peter Squires, the great, the awesome Hillary Astrid, and the amazing Tim Noon. So, are we ready to take it away?
No, we need another 3 minutes.
We need another 3 minutes. Okay. Well, any questions? Any answers? Any blessings? Any declarations? Be thinking about your blessings and declarations. We do have a period where you can do a blessing, and that is, you know, anybody. That's great. That's so great. Now, should I give you any other further introduction, or are you ready to go? Do you call yourself anything? No, Hillary's gonna do kirtan. That's what it is. Hillary, why don't you tell us what kirtan is?
Oh, it is. Great. Has everybody done kirtan, or who has done kirtan before? Cool. So kirtan is a practice of call and response chanting. It's from the Hindu tradition, but you don't have to be Hindu. We're going to sing a song to the mother, and it's going to be call and response. So I'm going to sing a line, and then you're going to sing a line. And this is to the mother Durga and to Kali. They're both fierce mothers. And yeah, so I'm going to say the words, and if maybe you'll say them after me to get acquainted. It's Ananda Ma, Durga Devi, Jagadambe, Shri Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Kali Kali Ma. You guys are great. I think we're ready to go. So Ananda means bliss. So this is basically to the bliss of the mother. Durga's one of the faces of the goddess, Kali is the face of the goddess, and Jagadambe is another name. Devi is another name for a goddess. So just bliss and goddess basically is all we're saying. Yeah, yep. So I like to, when I'm chanting, think of somebody or something in my life to send this energy towards. So if you hold that in your heart as we're singing. And yeah, I'm just gonna start. first Monday of the month. So that's this Monday. It's at 7:30. It'll be in this room. And every other Monday, first Monday of the month. So I hope you can join us. Thank you so much for singing.
Thank you so much. Is this amplifying it? Okay. Sure. Kirtan really makes you high. It's like an inebriant. So if you want to try that as a way to elevate, it is a definite, that's the whole idea of it. And it has to do with the breath work. You know, they have the holotropic breath work. So it's like, you know, by using your breath like that over a even longer period of time, you do, you know, I felt it incredibly. And I feel so honored to know them. They are just, you know, very divine people. Well, anyway, we're going to take these away. Is Evan coming out?
Evan is coming out.
Evan Pritchard is coming out. Now I'll give you his, because we're doing the mics, so I'll just tell you, Evan has, you know, we call him our native person in residence. He's taught us a lot about the native people that lived here before the people that built this house. So, you know, there were the Wappinger people that lived in a tribe that kind of came from Poughkeepsie down to Manhattan. Let this man out. Right. So, yeah, so the Wappinger people. But anyway, there's Evan. Evan is a brilliant PhD in, you know, the expert of the Hudson Valley Native people. That's his expertise, and he's been with us, helping us all the way, building that cairn. At the end of the driveway, there's a cairn that says Wappinger. You know what I'm talking about?
And that it's stronger this time of year, you know, because the sun is coming back. And so when the missionaries came, you know, they're saying, we want to tell you something you don't know about, you know, Jesus. And so, oh yeah, Jesus, yeah, we know about Jesus. You know, and we say, you know, he brings the light. Yeah, that's right. You know, and he helps us, you know, spiritually. Yeah, that's right. And this time of year, he really kind of rises from the dead and just brings life to everything. It's like, yeah, that's right. But Jesus, no, Jesus. And say, so Jesus, it said he's the little creator. That's what Jesus means in our language. The little creator, yeah, the baby Jesus, yeah. So the whole thing was a big confusion. So we kind of looked like we converted, but in fact, we just kept doing what we're doing. And yeah. And there's a song for the sun. This is my moose drum. It's a big matcher from up north, and I'm just going to play a short version of this, and it's easy to sing along. Niskam means where we come from, and that's the word for the sun. It's like we also see it as the grandfather of life, because, you know, it goes way back, right? Long ago there was the sun, and that's where our life comes from, long ago. So we say like this is a Niskam song, and honoring the sun who has come back to us, right? Niskam, Niskam, way, hey, hey, hey. Niskam, Niskam, way, hey. You can sing back to me. Niskam, Niskam, way, hey, hey, hey. Niskam, Niskam, way, hey. Niskam, way, hey, hey. Niskam, way, 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 hey. Well, that was great. Okay, you're good singers. So because you're good singers, I have a project for you, a creative project. And we have a word called wa in Algonquin language, which really means, in one syllable, everything that's good. It means light, It means beauty, love, goodness, and all those hard to define things. And it's like a white light. And so the word wa is what also comes from the sun. So I have this project. So I have this big flute that I've played here many times. So this is an F-sharp minor flute. And I want to ask you all to sing the word wa and create an F-sharp minor chord. Okay, so okay, so you macho guys, this low note. Guys, you know who you are. Macho girls too. Okay, and then baritones, tenors, contralto tenors, okay, altos, mezzo sopranos, and then sopranos. Okay, now all those notes at once, we all go wah, everybody go wah at your chosen note, okay? You ready? Can I hear some mezzo sopranos? Let's get the full chord now. Okay, let's go again. Wah with the full chord. I'm going to improvise the whole scale, and you just kind of keep that going. And wah. Remember, wah is everything beautiful. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Thank you. You're great. Now, I'm in the mood for audience participation, and I was here last month, and I heard a man named Fun Young Moon.
Oh, yeah.
How many people like Fun Young Moon?
We all do.
And he does this rap thing, and I went straight home, and I thought about, could I, a Micmac boy, write a rap song? I've never lived in Brooklyn. And I thought about the Rappahannock Indians, and I thought they need a rap song. And I was hanging out in the green room, with, Oprah Winfrey and all the people in the green room, and I ran into, Ashley and Jim. Ashley and Jim, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay,
You never know what happens in the coat closet.
so Ashley and Jim, Ashley lived in Warrenton, Virginia, believe it or not. Isn't that amazing? And that is minutes from the Rappahannock River, which was named, after the Rappahannock Indians, who named themselves after the Rappahannock River. It's kind of a Mobius strip situation. Okay, so these are two Algonquin tribes, the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Can you say, everybody, Rappahannock? Rappahannock. Can you say Nanticoke? Nanticoke. There you go. Okay, so these are two Algonquin tribes, and believe it or not, recently what's happening is that a lot of the native people are rising up and kind of resurrecting themselves and getting federal recognition and state recognition, which will allow them, more influence, in a sense, to take care of their own issues and to take care of themselves and really help them and gain them also respect. And so this poem which honors Fun Young Moon,
Of course.
and it's not, of course, worthy of him, but it sounds a little more like Professor Louis, but that's okay, right? So here's a poem, and what you do is when I snap my fingers, okay, you say the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke, like that. Can you say Rappahannock? Rappahannock. Can you say Nanticoke? Nanticoke. Can you say the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke? Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. And Ashley's going to lead you. Okay.
Rappahannock and Nanticoke.
Now this is, she's already into it. This is a jigamadesque, which is an Algonquin instrument, very ancient instrument. This one is a replica. So, but there are ones in museums that are hundreds of years old that are really the same exact thing. So just imagine this is old. And, So instead of snapping our fingers like that, you know, the Thunderstick is spoken, you're supposed to say, the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Alrighty, ready? This is news, this is educational, this is good for you. Okay, and they're experts on the background. Okay, this song too. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. They're not just rivers, they are the folks that sail those rivers, and they're small boats. They are the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, they're fighting now to keep their waters clear. They've been waters like protected for 1,000 years. They're ancient people of Algonquin stock, but they don't almost speak the language, but they walk the talk. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. They're not just rivers, and they're not a joke. They are both now recognized and strong as oak. They are the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, the Rappahannock folks are steeped in tradition. They live the old ways, and they don't need permission to live off the land without cars or machines. But they got federally recognized in 2018. They are the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, they got their name from the Rappahannock River, and it was their home and the chief name giver. And Washington threw a mean silver dollar, hit a Rappahannock and Elder, and made him holler. That's the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. But Washington threw that dollar to the other side. He bragged about it because he could not lie. Like Jason Worthy had a golden arm with the Rappahannock and arrowheads on his farm. It was the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, Rappahannock means where waters rise, at least up to the waterfall at Route 95. At Tappahannock Town, they had a fishing heaven where they saved John Smith back in 1607. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. And where would the powerful Powhatan be if it weren't for Pocahontas and her talking tree? If she and the captain hadn't met at the isthmus, Disney and Virginia would be out of business. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, the Pamunkey, the Chickahominy, and the Mattaponi, highly rated and related to that Powhatan guy. Matoka's father, he was tough as hell, but they got federally recognized this year as well, just like the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, yes, Virginia, there's room for more loving when the races mix and there's buns in the oven. And Mildred and Richard Loving, well, there's no need to panic. They're black and white, but they were both Rappahannock. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, they were called dormant, but they're now awoke. And the little state of Delaware, where it finally spoke, and it said hello to the Nanticoke. Well, they've been meaning to say it, and to get it done, they've been putting it off since 1881. But just this year, they lifted the bar. Now the Nanticoke can finally be who they are. They're the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, the Nanticoke are self-named Nantigo. And what they were before that, well, I don't know. But they came from Labrador through the Ohio Valley and also down the coast through Lenape Alley. Well, they found a home on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay where there are fish galore, and they settled on the Nanticoke's river's brine, which means tidewater people, and it suits them fine. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. They live near the Potomac, but they have the right to vote. They live near Trump, but they do not gloat, because Maryland hasn't recognized the Nanticoke. Well, Governor Christie, Java on Hudson, well, said that the Indians in New Jersey were next to nothing, and he erased 100 years of recognition, but Nanticokes are back, and hey, Christie's missing the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. The Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Well, Piscataway and Nanticoke have always persisted with a D.C. address before D.C. existed, and Capitol Hill, that CNN said, was a tidal island where the Powhatan met. and the old Kanoi from the Kanawha River. They've also been in D.C. since forever, and the Shawnee Chiefs from Old Town Maryland like to go down. They got some recognition and they feel their oats, and so I say with emotions choke, let's rap for the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Everybody, let's rap for the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. Let's rap for the Rappahannock and the one more time. Let's rap for the Rappahannock and the Nanticoke. That's it. All right.
That is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Where's my baby?
My time for a short one.
Let's see, does this work? Hey. Yo, 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 we're back. Hey, that was awesome. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, friends. We're going to have another set change. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look around one more time. And we're going to find somebody else that we have not introduced ourselves to, and we are going to meet somebody else. And maybe we can tell them where we're from, or whatever else you do when you introduce yourself. So find out something about that person. And we'll be right back.
I don't call myself that. Now, one of these turkeys took up both flights, wings out, over the power line. So for me, that you're like Mr. Animal Guy, stuff like that, I knew there was a massive It
Well, as one, as one, as one, as one. Hi. I wanted to let you know, how do people get to perform at the full moon? Okay, I wanted people who are talented, who are here, who are in the foyer, who are in the hallway, who are in the remote room. I want the people in the room to know how they can perform at the full moon. Now these people, we call them Woven Green. Do I know you guys? I'm going to know you even better, I can tell. Look at this.
We were, we're the Romantic Jam Band.
Oh, I know that. I know that. Woven Green, everybody. Give them a big hand. Woven Green. Thank you. I know. I had a whole thing I wanted to tell you anyway. So they're still setting up. But I wanted to tell you that if you wanted to be a performer at the full moon, if you feel that you're ready for well, we're not ready for prime time, but if you were ready for prime time and you wanted to come here and perform, hey, you could do that. And there's only 3 criteria. First of all, you have to be good. You have to be good, and you have to know that you're good enough. And in doing that, you have to be able to send us to see how good you are. So, like, if you have a YouTube or Vimeo, or you have a something on your website or Facebook, you can send us to it, and we'll watch it. And that's the first thing. You've got to audition, but you choose. We'll go find you on the web. Then 10 minutes. We haven't had some examples of that, but 10 minutes. You have to be able to do what you want to do in 10 minutes. We fudge it a little, but whatever. But basically, a short segment and good, and you have to send that to programs at cosm.org, but basically it's Karen, C-A-R-E-N, if you're interested. She's the one who books for the full moons, and she's going to be in the, she's going to be body painting tonight. So you can go over there, watch her body paint, or get yourself body painted, and talk to Karen about performing. You can also talk to Karen. She is so multi-talented. She's an amazing person. You can also talk to her about volunteering. If you would like to be a volunteer for an event, say, you can get a place to stay here overnight, and we make sure you're comfortable and happy, and you help us. So that can happen too through Karen. She's over there body painting. And Alec, by the way, before we get started with Woven Green, Alex on the full moons only, generally, only on full moons, and there's generally 12 or 13 of those a year, Alex will do a portrait. That means he will paint you, draw. It's a simple drawing with some watercolor. If you were willing to sit with him for an hour, so it means that giving up an hour of the party, but you get this incredible portrait, which is something that is an heirloom forever. You have a drawing of yourself by Alex, and to do that, you go to the store, Cosm Shop, and you just tell them that you want to do that. And if somebody hasn't gotten there first, you can sign up for that. So he just does one. All right. So that's all. And now, Woven Green, you sound like you're ready.
Yeah, I'd say we're close.
And you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, first, we want to just say how grateful we are to be here today. We were here for the full moon workshop, and we put on the healing power of sound, and we had a great time meeting everyone. And one of the things that made us so excited to come here is, aside from the amazing work of Allison and Alex and this beautiful energy that they've created here in this space, is this honoring of the full moon and the cycles of the earth. And it's something that we have, many of us have forgotten, but are coming to remember in this particular lifetime. And those of you who are at the workshop, we were talking a lot about that today. And so just take this first moment before we begin this song to bring yourself into your heart center and allow yourself to, really feel into the space that we're in here today and the gratitude that we feel for sharing and being here at this moment. around the wheel set free. Words born from stars encoded harmonies. Upon the wind they ride, always ready to be heard by those whose fire is burning bright. When we come to the wheel to raise the flame, we come to the wheel to sing of days. Right there now upon us, passing through the seventh gate on our way. Returning home, returning home.
On it, that's why I couldn't use that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll share.
We'll share a mic. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Push that one up.
Oh, here we go.
So we have another song for you tonight, and it's really fitting actually, since we were just hanging out with Evan and playing with him. And this song is actually based on a Native American prophecy called the Ghost Dance. And really this take on the song is about the rising of spirit. And we're using this in a way of imagining this for all people in all relations. And this particular ghost dance was done in a powerful ceremonial way, right, in order to bring back the ancestors of old and allow for a change in time, a change in our reality. And so we are ready for that change, and we'd like to share that with you. It's called Ghost Dance. Unclouded vision, astral traveling, serpent, eagle flying, incantation, wind swept seance echoes from the breaking tide. We are ready. We are ghost dance singing, mystic memories spun with sinew threads. Come all nations, come all tribes, from the flesh of the earth to the cities in the sky. We are ready. We are to spread the seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love. Spread the seeds of love.
seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love. Spread the seeds of love. Ghost and singing, mystic memories spun with sinew threads. Come all nations, come all tribes, from the flesh of the earth to the cities in the sky. We are ready. We are ready. Spread the seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love and peace on earth. Spread the seeds of love. Spread the seeds of love.
Much. That was so incredible. Wow. Go and breathe. How many people that are here were in the workshop today? There's a lot of people in that workshop. You know, we had a chance, it was live streaming, but only to Johnny's phone, but we got to watch you. It seemed incredibly powerful. It was really wonderful stuff going on. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have another set change, but I wanted to, while we're going to do that, we're going to do that real quick, right? Okay, because we got more stuff coming. There's a lot of wonderful equipment. People are more and more professional people are coming to our full moons. This is what it is. So we have a lot to look forward to, though, I have to tell you, because Entheon is where we're going to be holding the full moons in the future. So we like to keep that in our heart and in our minds, because we're rounding the corner on the construction at the end. You want to talk about that a little bit? Do you want to get up and say a few things about that?
Well, sure.
Tell us how good
Bill-
it's going to be when we get there.
Absolutely. Well, we have a room up there, the main hall, that will accommodate more than 200 people in one space. So that will enlarge our capacity, at least give us the remote room and this room and maybe a little more in one space. We'll have a little stage there and numerous pieces from the Sacred Mirrors collection, including the Sacred Mirrors, and dozens of other pieces. On the first floor of Entheon, there's 3 stories of Entheon. You might have noticed a big concrete box over there. We hope in the future that we'll be hanging basically masks of godheads over the entire building and wrap the entire building with one continuous kind of face that will have, about 30 eyes, 30 noses, 30 faces that are all interconnected. And in this way, they also on their foreheads have kind of third eyes of the different world wisdom traditions. And hopefully you've seen a picture of it. But that's after we finish the interior. And we are still hundreds of thousands of dollars away from completing the interior. We also have to complete the site work, which you might have noticed orange cones on your drive up the drive. That means we've got to put street lamps in there, and everything's got to be repaved as well, so that we're 18 feet. All this stuff is kind of regulated by the town, and they're the ones that give us our certificate. Something very special is about to occur.
Yeah, but tell us, okay, so tell us.
So at any rate, Entheon, we are.
Okay. Everybody can hear me anyway. It's just that we're live streaming, so we, say hello. Hello. Everybody. You can say hello to people in the remote room. Hello, guys. Well, I wanted to say about Entheon that we're going to be able to fit a few hundred people in one room there. That's like, we only have, room for maybe 70 people in this, these two galleries without obstructions. So we have hundreds of people here, and it's so lovely, and we love it so much, and we're so grateful to have it. We've created this incredible space that's so living room-like, but Entheon's going to be able to get us all in the same room together for larger events, and we're very excited about that. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Well, let me say this. Passover is a holiday that celebrates the book of Exodus. And so in the 5 books of Moses, there's Genesis, and then there's Exodus. So Genesis, as we all remember, is the 7 days of creation, Noah, and all that other stuff happens. But then you have the first Jew, the second Jew, and the third Jew, and all of their children. So you've got like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has 12 sons and 1 daughter. And at the end of Genesis, the favored son, the one that got the Technicolor Dreamcoat. You remember him, Joseph? Well, he got sold into slavery, but made good, right? He like became the prime minister and invited all the other family members to come. That's the 12 tribes, if you ever heard of them. They're the 12 sons of Jacob. What? Well, they were invited by the Technicolor Dreamcoat guy, Joseph. Here, let me come over here so you can see. I want you to get your mic out, too, because you might have something to say. Anyway. Mike, I invited. But anyway, so at the end of Genesis, the Jews, what's going on with the Jews? There's not that many of them, really. There's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and his 12 sons, and their daughter, Dinah. And they all moved to Egypt. And that's, and because the Technicolor Dreamcoat guy was so smart, he could read the dreams, he could see the future, he could help, and he became the prime minister. So the Jews, the few of them there were doing pretty good. They were favored, and they were invited. But, they had 13 children. they invited all their families, right? So they all moved there. So that's the end of Genesis. Things are going pretty good, because they had the prime minister as a Jew. Well, Exodus starts with, maybe, it's a lot of generations later. It's got to be 500 or so years later. According to their years, But 400 of those years, the Jews have been slaves. So what happened? Same thing that happened in other stories. Basically, they were favored. They grew, they multiplied. They got powerful. And then some leader, subsequent leader in the future, didn't like it and was afraid of that. So they enslaved them, and they were slaves for about 400 years. I mean, the Jews in the slaves in America were slaves for about, I think it's something like 265 years, something like that. There were slaves in America. But anyway, in Egypt, that's what they say. And Exodus begins at a time of repression, so that all Jews are not favored, and they're told, the midwives are told to kill the Jews, the Jewish boys, as they come out. They should drown them. Well, they don't want to do that, and they won't do that, but they are trying to get rid of the boys. So, as you know the story, the mother and grown sister of Moses, when he was an infant, put him in a basket and waited to see when the princess from the palace was going to be in the bath. You know, she's going to be in the river bathing. She probably was like a teenager, is what I think. And so he comes down the rivers. They put him in the basket, but they watch him going down the river. And the princess does indeed fall in love with this baby and decides, you know how teenagers are anyway. You know, they can't just do this, Daddy. You know, you can't just do this, you know. I want to adopt one, you know. So she adopts one, and she hires the mother and the daughter, who's finagled it, to get into the palace with him, to take care of him. So they become the wet nurse and the babysitter, you know, kind of thing. And he grows up in a palace with the best food, with the best education, with all the advantages, and the mother and the sister are doing okay because they're watching over him and everybody, and they're servants of the palace. Well, but the whole time, the mother and the sister are not letting Moses forget that he is a Jew. And they look out the window and they see the Jews are making bricks, and they're sweating, and they're getting beaten, and they are, you know, and they're enslaved. And here he is, growing up like a prince. So, you know, as you grow into being a teenager, you know, you have these sort of feelings of the world is unjust and things aren't right. It's just not okay, you know, that this is going on. I'm a Jew, and look what you're doing to my people. And like he basically, you know, can't be trusted by anybody because the people in the court, you know, see him as a Jew. You know, when all the other Jews are repressed, but the people, his own Jewish people, you know, like, all they can say is, Moses, what are you going to do for us, you know, basically. It's all on you. So he sees somebody, a Jewish slave, being killed, and he goes out and he kills the taskmaster that just killed one of his people. And at that point, he is really not trusted. He can't go anywhere, you know, because nobody will trust him. The Egyptians don't trust him, because can he just get away with that? Just kill somebody, and then he's going to get away with it because he's in the palace. But then the Jewish people, what are you going to do for us, Moses, you know? So he runs away, and he runs into the hills, and he encounters his wife and at the well, and he's a gentlemanly guy. He's grown up with good manners, and he shoos away all these sort of marauding creatures, and he saves the ladies at the well, and he goes back and marries her, and he stays with her for, like, you know, I mean, their years, you just don't know, but basically has children and, you know, has a life, and is a really good shepherd, because boy, it runs in the family, honestly. And he makes the flocks, you know, just like multiply all over the place. His father-in-law, Jethro, just loves him and doesn't, like gets him signed up for another 11 years. You know, he doesn't want him to leave. But out there in the meadows, while he's tending the livestock that are depositing dung all over the meadows and fields, and all the mushrooms are growing up everywhere, and he is in the meadow taking care of these livestock, one day he encounters a burning bush. The bush is burning, but it's not burning. It's burning, but it's not like burning. It's not consumed in flame, you know. So he hears a voice coming out of the fire, and it says, "Take off your shoes and pray. The land you're standing on is holy ground." So he gets the message that he had to move on. I always love this story because it relates so much to our heart, right? It's our aliyah. You know, in a parsha, there's an aliyah. It's a thing that, like, you really feel it in your own life. And this is what I feel in my life. You know, they say that it was not Moses who actually dipped his toe into the Red Sea, the first one. He wasn't the first one to go in. No. It was an older guy, old Rebbe, and he went into his toe, and he went into his ankle, and he went in up to his knee, and then up to his hip, and then up to his waist, and then up to his shoulder, then up to his neck, and up to his nose. And just as he was about to go in over his head, the seas parted. So anyway, I believe that, and I think that's, you know, that's coming true for us too, with the support that we're getting toward our goal of creating a temple. And you have to put everything into it, everything. You can't leave anything out. And just to let you know, Alex and I are volunteers. Everything. So, but anyway, so the seas part, and they are on the other side, and they are free. And the Pharaoh's armies get killed and all that, and they have now to figure out how to be a people. How to be a people. You know, all the policies and protocols. And by the way, there's supposedly like 670,000 something of them. That was in numbers. That comes next. They start counting. You know, there's the Jews for you, you know. They start counting. How many livestock do we have? How many men, women, children do we have? It's a census. And then they start making the rules and the policies. Because they have all these people, you know. Well, anyway, that's the story of Exodus. But before, part of what I do on Passover is we do the shortest Seder. So that already was part of the shortest Seder, because the shortest Seder you'd have to tell the story of the book of Exodus, and you have to do this, which I'm about to do. So we're going to light the candles, and then I'm going to tell you about all the foods that are the symbols of Passover. That's what you're supposed to do to have the shortest Seder. You have to do the prayers. And then there's like 3 prayers, and then I tell you about the different symbols. And if anybody else wants to chime in, anybody else knows the symbols of Passover? Somebody? Okay. So we'll get a few volunteers. Okay, good. So first of all, we're going to light the candles the way way my grandmother and my great-grandmother and everybody back to Abraham, as far as I know, lit the candles. So who wants to say the Baruch over the candles? Anybody know it? I'll do it. Let's see if I can do this. This is the hard part, getting this thing to light. Here, I'm gonna let you light them. There you go. I'm not technological. I'm just. How do you do that? You have one of those. Yes, we do. Okay, good. So you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Pesach. And that means, blessed art thou, all eternal, universal force of the universe that has sanctified us to light the candles on the holiday of Passover. And then you say, thank you, Alex, thank you so much. Say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu Borei Peri Hagaf. And that means, blessed art thou, O force of the universe, who has sanctified us to drink the fruit of the vine. Manischewitz. I tell you, I saved this. I'm almost out. It probably took me about 4 years. I do this every year. Okay, so then you've got, we can do one more prayer. The prayer over the matzah. So you would say, and I haven't even told you what the matzah is, so I think what I'll do is I'll tell you what the matzah is first, and the symbol of it. Who wants to say what the symbol of matzah is? Come on, go for it. Want to shout it out? No? The symbol, yes.
I was just going to say it was the bread that they were capable of making as they were rushing to exit.
The bread that they were capable of making as they were rushing to exit. Thank you. We all call it the bread of affliction. That means don't eat too much of it. It's really gonna not be good if you eat too much of it. But it's so yummy that it's like addictive, like popcorn. So you have to kind of watch yourself. And you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem. No, you say, I guess it's hamotzi lechem min haaretz matzah. I'm not sure, but anyway, there you go. It's about matzah. And it is gluten-free. So anyway, now the Passover, they do this so that the Seder is where families will get together and they will actually go through this story and they'll have things that will remind them of the different parts of the story. It's important that they remember the parts of the story. So anyway, I don't know that it's really that much about the story as it's about the season. Because you got the egg, you got to have an egg, and everybody knows that this is the holiday for the egg, right? Fertility, spring, birth, all that. And so you have also these greens. You have to have greens. And I bundled a few different kinds of greens together because every time I do one of these, somebody will tell me that I don't have the right kind of greens. So I try to cover my bases and put a whole bunch together. But I always use parsley. But then people will say you have to have like a celery or something with a spine because it's all about the strength and the standing up tall or something like this about spring. And I don't know, but it's very much pagan. What can I say? It's about spring. Now this symbol, I always try to get the biggest, most phallic one I can find. Everybody knows that. I find this is the horseradish. This is what horseradish looks like. It comes out of the ground. And I get one of these, I go to a place and I find the best one, because it's all about fertility. This season is all about fertility. I just wanted you to know that, because I always wondered this as a young person, I didn't realize that Passover falls on the full moon. It starts on the full moon. That was last night. It was the first night of Passover. So it starts on the full moon, but it falls on the full moon after the vernal equinox. So it's the first full moon, after the vernal equinox, the first full moon after that, that's the first night of Passover. It always starts on a different date, right? That's because it's key to the moon, not to the Gregorian calendar. So, but anyway, so it's the full moon after the vernal equinox. Well, Easter Sunday is the Sunday after the full moon, after the vernal equinox. Seriously. So you got the vernal, you got the full moon, then you got the Sunday following that. That's Easter Sunday. I always wondered how they picked that. That's it. So, but anyway, and it's all about the season. You got the vernal equinox involved in this. So this is the season where strength and power of growth. And if you get one of these, you can plant them like right in the ground, and it starts making it grows like crazy. And I'm going to plant that after the holidays. And it's about, but horseradish, it's a visceral experience, you eat it and it goes right up into your nose. So they give you this opportunity, this sensorial opportunity within this ceremony to have an actual altered consciousness experience, and that is, I took like a hunk and I made little matchsticks out of it. So anybody who would like to have that visceral experience, you can try this. I have enough for some people. And I do have salt water. Salt water is for dipping. You have to dip twice at the Passover Seder. One is you dip some of these greens in here, and the other one is you dip your egg in here. And what it's all about is tears, crying, the sadness that happens when you know that your people are enslaved, or the sadness that happens within you when you know that you, in some way, are enslaved, addicted to some behavior or something that you'd like to let go of, something that that's just been, persisting yet unwanted in your life. That's what you remember. Now this stuff is called Haroset, and it's made of apples and nuts. It's really good. And some of this every year, and I don't think there's anything else in there. Honey and salt. But anyway, you take, this is supposed to remind you of the bricks, what they made the bricks out of, but they made it sweet, so it's delicious, you know what I'm saying? And yet the bitter, you have to have the bitter with the sweet. So here, come here a second, sweetie. You demonstrate for me. It's all gluten-free. So you take a cracker and you put a little bit of Haroset on there. Yeah. Yeah. And then you take a little moror. This is what you call the moror. It's a little matchstick of, and you are devilishly daring. See, the bigger you are, the bigger a man you are. You know what I'm saying? You could eat that. So then you put it together as a sandwich, and you munch. You got to get a little bit of the sweet with the bitter. That's what it's all about. And they make, it's very important that you make, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. This is the Passover. This is where the word Passover comes from. Because at the 10th plague, the one where all the firstborn boys were going to be killed. It's like retribution time, It's all a story, but it's retribution time. The Jews were told by the angel of death to like put an X with a lamb. They had to sacrifice a lamb. Don't think that doesn't mean anything. That's really something, sacrificing a lamb. I get a lamb shank once a year. That's because it's formidable to think of what you did, But anyway, they put the blood over the door, and that saved all the baby Jews during the plague. But anyway, I think it's a phallic symbol. I mean, come on, seriously. There are just as many phallic things as they can think of. I mean, even the thing with the spine, they want celery, It's all about that. But anyway, so and I just have to brag one little bit. I did try homemade matzah. I made my own. I made some and I brought some commercial. But anyway, you can come up later. We're gonna have Alexa out in a minute. But we're gonna leave this here, I hope, or move it over or something. And yes, and then you can come up and try some. But I'll be up here at the end, just sitting and happy to chat. So that's the end of my portion for this full moon. Now Alexa is coming out. Alexa Spotty, come on out here. She looks so, you're wearing my pants. I love you.
Tonight is not only what we have on tap this evening, which is going to be as chill as a cucumber. I'm so excited about it. But we also have some cool things coming up tomorrow. It is April Fool's Day tomorrow, but it's not a joke. We do have events tomorrow, so please come on by. Hop on over at 10 a.m. We have yoga with Shipra. Prepare for the ultimate out-of-body experience with Shipra. The yoga is wonderful. Great countermeasure to the Sunday blues. And then stay into the afternoon for Art Church with Alex and Allison. Kind of discussed it earlier. It's a topic on liberation, the book of Exodus, the archetype of Christ. Cosmic Christ, which you can see in the gallery, will highlight the discussion as well. So if you've been here many times, seen it online, and you're just like, what is going on with that painting? Tomorrow is a good opportunity to come on by and hear about that. We also heard Kirtan with Miss Astrid and friends. We have that on Mondays at 7:30 p.m., first Monday of every month, so come on out for that as well. If you enjoyed the Kirtan Jam, we got it going on. Thursday at 7:30, we have yoga with Emily Rose, and she's actually going to be doing yoga every Sunday now at 10 a.m. So that's really exciting. Another local opportunity for those who are in town or passing through. Next weekend, we have some divine dance opportunities. On Friday, we have Tool tribute band Schism in the house. It takes a very brave group of individuals to, channel the mysticism that Tool is, but these guys do a really good job, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tool themselves has credited them for doing a pretty good job, and this is, again, your local opportunity to get down. They did great last year, looking forward to it again. And then the following day, on Saturday, the 7th of April, Michael Menard, who's a original member of Pretty Lights Music, did the sound design for Dead & Company from 2016, 2017, has worked with STS9, all these great current musicians. He will be doing a special DJ set as well. So come get groovy and funky with us. And our next full moon is April 28th, where we have an Indian spice fusion band, Braharat, who will be breaking it down in the Moon Lounge, which is exciting, but we're not there yet. We're here. We're here now. Tonight, like I said, it's gonna be so great and chill after this wild month of beautiful events. We have Johanna Warren and Josh of Maitland doing some acoustic music in the Moon Lounge, so that'll be really wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. We have some live painters, Alicia Post, Claire Slattery, Hanzo, which is Gavin and Mike, they're a collaborative duo, Brian Zickafus, I'll just check my cheat sheet. Yeah, they will be painting throughout the house. We got some in the gallery, some in the parlor. Karen Charles, like Allison said, will be body painting. Go talk to her if you're interested about volunteering. She's super wonderful, my BFF. It was just her birthday. Happy birthday, Karen. And what else do we have? I don't know if we reserved a portrait yet. We might have. If you're interested, highly recommend it. Head on over to the Cosm shop and inquire about that. Get some funky pants too, I'm telling you. These Vision Lab pants are next level. You can wear them in the winter, spring, summer, for bed, for yoga, for dance time, anything. It's wonderful. So check that out in the shop. Get some drinks and snacks in the Mushroom Cafe. Highly recommend the yerba mate. That will get you buzzing for the night to come. Bonfires are back.
Bonfires, what's going on with that? Why don't we have two? Here we are.
There we are.
Yes,
Welcome.
we do.
Hi.
What is going on out there by the bonfire?
Oh,
What do we look forward to?
The bonfires are back. I'm so
Bonfires
excited about
back.
it. Be transfixed by some beautiful flow art, fire spinning outside. Keep each other warm out there. Talk about some, meaningful things, and be sure to laugh. We really recommend that here. And
True.
I think that's it.
Okay, but with that, I have to say something.
Please.
I wanted to
Yes.
say that there are some incredible art workshops coming up this
Yes.
summer, and I really alert you to either talk to Alexis sometime tonight about what's possible, or look online and go shopping, find out who you want to study with this summer, because we get some people coming from far and wide to teach the best art in their own ways. They all have amazing things to contribute to any artist. It just adds to your bag of tricks to have more and more input from various people. So definitely, if you are an artist, go up to the different live painters and talk to them about their work, and ask them how they got to do what they do and all that, because Brian Zickafus is here from West Virginia. We have people coming from all over, is that right? Totally. So, but anyway, Alex and I will be teaching the Omega 5-day Visionary Art Intensive again this summer. It will be our 28th summer. Okay.
Yeah, let's
so we
give a round of
we
applause for
don't
that.
we don't fool around. We go do this 5-day thing every summer at Omega, because those people are so awesome and we love them, and they allow us. They just give us a lot of attention and love. So join us at Omega. It's only an hour away, and you can they have just so many services, and you'll have such a great time. And then we end up back here afterwards for a barbecue. So that's what we do. We go over there and teach them, and it's a great art kick in the pants. It's an immersion for 5 days. Give yourself art. If you really have been lazy about your art, or you want to go to the next level for some reason, you want to go bust it out and really do this thing professionally, whatever it is that you are, you can come and make art with us, and we go through a lot of stuff together. It's a 5-day ritual
So
of
lovely.
art. Art is a spiritual
is.
practice, as is tomorrow's Art Church.
Yes.
So if you want to experiment in what that means, come and join us at Art Church as well.
You showed up tonight, and that's a good start. So
Very good. We're
we
so
really
glad you
appreciate-
came.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You're
if you're-
already temple builders.
Yeah, and if you're interested in anything else, again, I'll be roaming around the whole grounds tonight. And please follow us on social media: Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, Alex Gray Cosm, Allison Gray Cosm, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go to our website. We have a whole smorgasbord of information there, and it's
Lex is
lovely.
our media maven.
Ah,
She's the maestro of media.
it takes a team to build a ship, but that's all I have for you guys tonight. Please have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Well, we like to engage everyone in what we call declarations and
Blessings.
blessings.
Blessings and declarations. It's your opportunity to say something for a minute. If you had a minute, would you have a blessing? Would you have a declaration? Think about it. You may want to declare it before your community, because if you declare something, anything, before your community, it empowers it. Empowers it. People might, network with you afterwards, or maybe they know something that you need to know.
Exactly. That's when we started the full moons. We just started saying we want to build this temple. We don't know how we're going to do it. Just putting it out and continuing to put it out into the world brought miraculous kind of results. I mean, now we're so much closer to this goal, and it really is the participation of each person that comes here. It enables it all to move forward. It's kind of like we're all carrying this thing, and I see the little feet like a millipede under the thing. We're getting there all together, so thank you for being part of this effort. By coming here, that's what we're doing.
But tell us if you have a blessing or a declaration.
Or a declaration, something you'd like to do, something that you'd like to accomplish in your life, or if you want to send someone a blessing, who's near you and who might need it. I mean, right now, we could just do a generalized kind of blessing about for healing.
Let's do that. There's always somebody that we know in our life that needs healing, and maybe we need healing, so let's do a blessing.
Exactly. So if you look inside, just look at that light in your heart. Just expand that light as you breathe in. Just begin to feel that light in your heart expanding out and being radiant, fully empowering you with this divine light that is your very nature, the nature of spirit. Wholeness, wellness is your vibrant core, your strong core of light. As it expands out, it unites with your neighbor's ball of light, and we create an enormous healing battery. So as this creative juice comes together, if there's someone in your life that you'd like to send that energy to, you just think of them, you bring them into your mind, and if you want to, you can say their name, into the creative space here.
Prisoners. Thank you.
Yes.
Almost every, for maybe 185 full moons, we have, I've uttered the name of my, ancestors dearly departed, if you have anyone that you would like to bring their spirit into the room, just say their name.
We welcome the spirits of the departed and the beloved. We wish them well. We wish them peace.
May their memories be a blessing. So, if no one has a blessing or declaration, come on. Yes, I knew there was. I knew. It's hiding.
You want to stand up?
Stand up and just, you don't have to stand up, just shout it out. Whatever you want to do.
So, I hate to sound a little self-centric, but the entire theme that's kind of been unraveling tonight of freeing oneself or letting go of negativity or accepting change is something that I've been kind of thrown into involuntarily this past week. A week ago today, actually, I got let go from my job that I had for 4.5 years, which doesn't sound like a long time, but as a 27-year-old, that's a pretty long time to have anything. And even though it was a abusive, toxic, hostile work environment, it still threw me into the ringer to be rejected from something that had been that had come so accustomed in my life.
Oh my God.
And
That's the angel tapping you on the shoulder telling you that it was abusive and you weren't doing anything about it.
You're very right. But I got a strong inclination from whatever it might be to come here tonight, and I think that was a very apt suggestion from whatever force was guiding me here tonight, because of the everything that we've been talking about here so far. So if there's any declaration I can make in this blue moon environment, in this kind of environment that's suggesting, that is encouraging us to accept change, to move on from the negative, and to embrace kind of a new path, I hope that people can sort of embrace that notion tonight and take it with them to get out of the negativity that they might be facing from the day-to-day.
That's really beautiful. That's an affirmation.
One of the things I started doing since I've been let go is because I have all this free time now that I have and I started drawing again, which I haven't done in like 10 years. So,
Wow.
but I've been drawing right now, and does anyone have a pencil sharpener? Because
I think we have to move on. We'll get you a pencil sharpener later. Okay.
Because now I can let that go, cut the cords, and now we're here to have a little bit of light review, fun tonight with the full moon and amplifier. Tomorrow is rebirth for you, it's rebirth for me, and I think so many other people here in that same theme tonight. There's so much power and synchronicity to all the themes, the coalescence of Passover, Ramadan even starting on Monday, but this weekend, should you allow it, is time to say goodbye to the past. It's just a story. And today we are reborn, and I am so grateful and full of gratitude to be here at this place with so many beautiful, loving people. My friends from Woven Green who did this wonderful sound healing and things like that. It's just incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
That's such a beautiful affirmation for the space and for your particular juncture in the journey. And I just send out a blessing to everyone who is going through a strong transition, a place where they're not sure where they're going to wind up, but they've let go of something and the new is growing. you're at the right season. It's the perfect season. So this is a total blessing. Thank you for that prayer.
So are there burning? Yes.
I just want to say that on that same note, I think that the universe really leans itself towards the brave who do the things that they find most difficult, and really is cruel in some sense to those who don't. So the change is something that I've learned to, or the suck is something that I've learned to embrace, because it's always pushing me out of a space into some other place, whether it's, I think it's good or bad. It's always good in hindsight. So just don't ever look back. And,
Thank you. That's great. Yes.
I'd like to say that I really hope that people start to see suffering as a signal rather than something wrong. It's a signal that something's out of balance, particularly disconnection with community and with ourselves and with nature. And I hope healing for everyone's suffering, especially from addiction and trauma and pain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I'd like to ask that we could do a blessing from my best friend from childhood. Her name is Cody, and she just got diagnosed with ALS. You might know that's Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's very fast progressing. And she's a great supporter of the art. She's a beautiful person. So please just join me for a moment, sending her good healing energy.
What's her name?
Cody.
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 Oh.
Say a blessing.
She's a lovely person.
Yes.
Thank you.
May Cody feel the full healing presence surrounding them with light, filling them with the healing energy and the understanding that they are part of the eternal flow, and may Cody come to the center of their soul and know healing throughout this process. May Cody be blessed. Thank you.
I like to think when we talk about healing and sending healing energy, I always like to think about the universal mind lattice. I think of the energy as that, without the body. So you're a fountain, and you're spraying it out. And you can go as far as Cody, I'm going right there, And also it's a drain too, so if you need healing, you funnel it in. But anyway.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so who
Someone
else?
else?
Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, I'm Beverly. This is my second time here, and I came, I guess it was in October. My friend Dave told me about this place, but I've known about it for years. And I didn't realize when I was coming here, I live in Northern Virginia, and I drive every 3 months up to Boston to see my mom, who was an artist and a tap dancer, and she was back in the day in like the Sammy Davis Jr. kind of era.
You have a blessing.
Yeah,
for
so
generation.
well, the thing is that when I came here the first time, I didn't realize that I was going to say goodbye to my mom, because after I saw her around my birthday, she passed 3 weeks later. So, but it's really a blessing, because she couldn't dance anymore, she couldn't do her art. So I kind of told her after coming here, unfortunately you're in the nursing home, Mom, and going home is to be with your ancestors. So then she passed. So now I'm in a new life now. We just sold our house on Martha's Vineyard, and now I have this freedom to kind of do what I do, which is promote holistic living and travel to Costa Rica and stuff like that. So with the sadness of Mom dying, it was really a new birthing for me and for her to be in her light body. So I didn't realize when I came here that it was preparing me to prepare Mom to go to the light. So thank you.
It's liberation
Yeah.
for both of you. Yeah. Thank you. If you are, raise your hand now. If you will be incomplete if you don't. Okay, there you go.
I would like to just put it out there to continue to have have respect and reverence for nature and plant medicines, the great plant teachers on this planet.
For you to internally captivate, and you have to see this change as just the loving universe of yourself pushing you in the direction of yourself, and not get lost in what seemed to be maybe negative or destructive, and just realize it's the universal one mind of yourself, just loving yourself, bringing you to where your mind wants it to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, very good. Now, I think it's time for you to close the ceremony with a benediction. Here you go.
All right, here we go. Dedication to love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships. Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and the stranger gives us the courage to endure. May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves. May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusions. May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world. A heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves. And may any merit generated by this gathering here tonight be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings. Happy full moon, everyone. Thank you.
For those of you that stay for the entire journey and are here as we close the ceremony, we will meet you in the Moon Lounge for Howling at the Moon at, I don't know whether it's midnight, at midnight tonight, okay. So we're gonna howl at the moon, and if you're still here, meet us in there, and we'll be here, chatting, and having matzah and